Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines the word elite as the people who have the most wealth and status in a society, the most successful or powerful group of people, a person who is a member of an elite, or a successful and powerful person. So what does the word elite mean when applied to NFL quarterbacks? If you use the people who have the most wealth definition, a bad quarterback like Colin Kaepernick could be seen elite with his 6-year, $114 million contract he signed in 2014. But obviously we aren't measuring elite by the player's wealth, but rather on the second definition, the most powerful or successful group of people, with the group of people in this case being NFL quarterbacks. With this in mind, I'm Jacob from Quad Hunting, and this is Matthew Stafford an elite quarterback? So Matthew Stafford was drafted in 2009 with the first overall pick to the Detroit Lions, and fun fact, he is the only quarterback that was drafted that year to be on the same team that drafted him, much less starting for the team that drafted him. So Stafford had an uphill climb right off the bat, having to join a team that had gone 0-16 the year prior, the only team to have gone 0-16 ever in the 2008 Lions, but he managed it pretty well, and I'd argue he managed it the best he could. After being labeled injury-prone after only starting 13 of the possible 32 starts of his first 2 NFL seasons, he quickly shed the label in his first full NFL season by leading the Lions to a 10-6 record and the 6th seed wild card spot, where they eventually lost to the reigning Super Bowl defending champions, the New Orleans Saints, in New Orleans, just 3 years after the Lions managed to not win one game. After a couple seasons of being surrounded by incompetent coaches and a recycling bin full of washed-up talent, Stafford was again able to lead the Lions to an 11-5 record and again another wild card spot, only to lose controversially in the playoffs to the Dallas Cowboys in 2014. The start of 2015 saw Stafford probably playing the worst football of his career, throwing 10 touchdowns to 9 interceptions in the first half of the season, only for him to explode in the second half of the season after offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi was fired and replaced with offensive coordinator Jim Bob Cooter. After Lombardi was fired, Stafford finished the season out by throwing 20 touchdowns to 4 interceptions to finish out the season at 32 touchdowns to 13 interceptions, and a career high at that point, 67 completion percentage, which ended up being one of his better seasons of his career, even though fans were shy on proclaiming Stafford to be a top 10 quarterback at that point. During the 2016 NFL offseason, Calvin Johnson announced his retirement from the game of football, which sent the national media into a frenzy, and even some Detroit Lions faithful, about how Matthew Stafford would not be able to produce without his all-pro wide receiver on the team. But even with the sudden retirement of Johnson, Stafford is playing his best football of his career in the first 7 games of the 2016 season, with wide receivers such as Golden Tate, Marvin Jones, Anquan Boldin, and Andre Roberts lining up. He's even doing this without much of a running game, as Amir Abdullah, Theo Riddick, and Dwayne Washington have all gone down with injuries, but he's being left with undrafted free agent from last year, Zach Zenner, and a free agent pickup from 2 weeks ago in Justin Forsett to hold the running game down. And even though the offensive line has improved a little bit from last year, the improved pocket awareness Stafford picked up during the offseason, and it looked like some of the athleticism he picked up as well, has helped him make more plays when the offensive line breaks down and keep plays alive, when otherwise he would have been sacked or just went into gunslinger mode and threw an interception. With the retirement of Johnson, we have seen Stafford step up and become the leader of the team, and as you saw against the Colts, when he went after Marvin Jones and Eric Ebron, he has no problem doing that. He is in the position of being a leader, and that is what Lions fans have been wanting to see forever. This season, Stafford is completing a career-high 68% of his passes for 1,914 yards, 15 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, for a career-high 105.7 quarterback rating. He has also taken a lower-than-normal 18 sacks, and while a lot of people want to say Stafford has calmed down and started playing safer and not throwing the ball as deep, playing more dink and dunk, he is actually averaging a career-high yards per pass at 7.9. All fans have to do is look at the Marvin Jones throw he made this last weekend to prove that Stafford still is willing to go deep even with the retirement of Calvin Johnson. So is Matthew Stafford an elite quarterback? Now we're getting back to the question I asked in the beginning. In my opinion, yes. Stafford is an elite quarterback. The stats are there to prove it. He's winning games that the team shouldn't be winning. Without Stafford, this team is 0-7. So I believe Stafford is an elite quarterback. at the very least, the least you could say about him is he's a great quarterback. He is doing this in clutch moments. He is leading the Lions to a winning record as of right now at 4-3. He is an elite quarterback. So if you like the video, leave a like, comment, and all that good stuff. Tell me how wrong I am. We know how Lions fans think we're all wrong. But yeah, see you guys next time.